In this lecture, we will analyze scene 4 and scene 5 of Act 2. Scene 4 is a very short scene, and in the last scene we saw that Epicure Mammon has already got attracted towards Doll, and he now wants to have a conversation with her, and therefore he asks Face to speak on his behalf and praise him as much as possible before Doll. So now in Act 2 Scene 4 we find that Subtle and Doll, they enter, and Subtle asks Bet whether Epicure Mammon has caught the bait, which means whether he is trapped or not, and Face says that he has not only caught the bait. So here the bait represents Doll, but he has also digested it quite well. And then Subtle asks Face that if they are going to catch him, as if he's a fish, okay, so as if they are going to catch him more strongly and more firmly like a fish or not. And Face says that yes, he has done whatever is possible to make him get attracted towards, or to draw his attention towards Doll. And he says that a man is very soon taken, like, and he gets into madness whenever it concerns a wench, a lady. So after this, Doll is instructed by Subtle that now her identity is that she is the sister of a lord, and therefore she must carry herself in a stately manner, to which Doll says that she will confidently play her part, she will confidently display her new identity, and she's not going to forget her position as the Lord's sister, and she assures both of them about her acting. And she also says that she's going to maintain a good distance, like a good distance, and but she will laugh and she will speak loudly, but she will adapt all the tricks that suit an ill-tempered lady, and she will also be as rude as a maid servant to the outsiders. And Face also gets very impressed by Doll, looking like seeing her so confident. And then Subtle questions Face. He inquires whether Mammon is going to bring all the metals that he possesses, and Face confirms that yes, he's going to bring everything, be it iron utensils, metal pitcher, shoeing horn, everything. But here they also discuss that there is someone who refuses to be fooled, who refuses to be gulled, and that is Epicure Mammon's friend Surly. And Face says that he has also hooked him, just as a fish is hooked, because he has made him believe that Captain Face wants to meet him over an urgent business at the temple church. And so he requests Subtle to pray for his success. And as we come to the concluding part of scene 4, we find that they are expecting, Subtle and Face, they are expecting more fools, or more people who can be easily fooled, and who they refer to as small freshwater fish. And Subtle here says that someone is going to come, and who is an Anabaptist, a Puritan, a radical Puritan, who are considered religious fanatics. So he is going to, the Doll is there at the window, and Subtle says that he is someone, that the person, the Puritan who is going to come, he is one who purchases pieces of gold, and he is going to barter Mammon's metals. So he is one of the holy elders, we can call him, we can consider him one of the holy elders. And then he asks Doll to help him take off his gown. And after that, Doll exits the scene, And now Subtle speaks to himself and says that now he is going to talk to this new gull in a new way, in a new tune. He's going to put on a new gesture, but he will speak in the same old language. And he says that this man has some dealings with the fellow is sent from one negotiates with me about the stone. So this man who is going to come, who is about to come, is going to have some dealings, some transactions with Subtle about the stone. And he says that for the holy brethren of Amsterdam. So who are these people? He says something about this Anabaptists. He says they are the Puritans who were exiled from Amsterdam, and now they want to get hold of the philosopher's stone to strengthen their organization, to strengthen their radical thoughts about religion, or to strengthen their radical religious practices. So Subtle says that he is now determined that he is going to use this man in different ways, and he will use him in such a way that he should be able, that he will convince him to admire him. So with this, scene 4 ends, and then we move on to scene 5. But before I start analyzing scene 5, one thing needs to be understood, that whoever is going to come to meet Subtle is a Puritan. And we all have learned, we know that the Puritans claim themselves to be strict moral people. They claim themselves to be not associated, or to have no inclination towards worldly things. But this is very ironic that now they are the ones who have given this responsibility to Subtle to prepare that philosopher's stone, and now they are going to use that very stone to strengthen their religious beliefs and practices in society. So now the person who comes in, who enters the stage in Act 2, Scene 4 is Ananias. So Subtle inquires where Face is, his servant, and then once again, like we saw in one of the previous scenes, how Face and Subtle were exchanging technical jargon with one another, which was beyond Epicure Mammon or Surly's comprehension. So here also, in order to show off himself as a skilled alchemist, in order to display himself as a skilled alchemist, once again Face and Subtle exchange or use technical jargon. So and the scene opens where we see Subtle gives some instructions regarding separating a fluid from something else, from a vessel to Face, and then in the same way they continue to speak in an illegible, in an, let's say, in an incomprehensible language. And then when Ananias comes in, he's asked by Subtle who he is, and he says that he is a Puritan. So Subtle becomes very curious and asks him who is he, whether he is a follower of Lalianist or Ripley. Now Lalianist and Ripley, they are two famous alchemists, and he also asks him that if he can perform some of the alchemical tasks, whether by looking at a mixture he can say whether the substances are the same or different. And Ananias is completely at a loss. He cannot understand anything that Subtle says, and therefore he says that he cannot understand a hidden language. And this angers Subtle, and he says that he considers their language hidden. So he asks him again that if the language of the sacred art of alchemy is a hidden language or not. And then we see the conversation continues, and Ananias, like I said, he cannot understand the ABCD of whatever is uttered by Subtle, and then he says that it is Greek but it is hidden. So here once again religion is referred. So here Ananias represents himself as a typical Puritan who believes that any other language other than Hebrew is a hidden language, because Hebrew is the language that was spoken by Christ. So therefore, the other languages are hidden languages. So again, the same thing, how hidden Greek. So subtle questions in that how the ancient languages can be hidden. So this argument continues, and then we find once again Face comes in, and subtle starts speaking to him and tells him that he should elaborate to Ananias, he should elaborate the chemical changes that take place in metals when they are being transmuted into gold, like regarding the process. And then he asks him to mention each of the processes, and following Subtle's instructions, Face continues to mention them, like putrefaction, solution, ablution, calcination. And then a few more questions follow, and Face continues to respond to Subtle's questions and answers, like I said, in technical terms which are beyond Ananias's comprehension. So after this, the next part is after this conversation, where Face answers all the questions that are asked by Subtle. Ananias now explains his identity to Subtle when he is asked that, "What are you, sir?" Like, which means like, "Who are you?" And then Ananias says that, "A servant of the exiled brethren." So he says that he's a servant of the Puritans. Okay, and what he does is that he deals with the goods of widows and orphans, and it is also his responsibility to keep a proper account of them. Okay, so he is a deacon, he's a servant of those Puritans who were exiled. And then he's asked who has sent him, so whether it's wholesome or not. And then Ananias says that yes, he has come from tribulation wholesome. So tribulation wholesome is another Puritan character in the play who is an enthusiastic pastor. So he is the one who has sent Ananias to Subtle. And then Subtle informs Ananias that he possesses some orphans' goods to be disposed of. And then regarding that, Ananias questions him like what kind of goods they are, and Subtle elaborates, explains that they are utensils, some utensils for the kitchen, okay, like iron, pewter, brass, kitchenwares, metals, and all this stuff. And he says that these are the metal utensils, these are the metal things they use to do experiment with the philosopher's stone. And he also tells Ananias that if he has ready money, he may have some benefits, which means he may buy this stuff, if of course if he has ready money. And then to this, when he is questioned, when Ananias is questioned if he has any money or not, so Ananias says that no, he does not have any money. And Ananias says that he has come to convey a message on behalf of his Puritan brothers. And what is the message? The message is that they have asked Ananias to inform Subtle that they are not going to venture anymore, which means they are not going to invest any more money till they see the transmutation, till they may see projection, which means till they see the transmutation of the metals into gold. And of course, this is going to annoy, this is going to anger Subtle. And then Ananias continues to say that he has already been paid much. For instance, in order to get the instruments, bricks, glasses, they have already paid him 30 pounds, and for other materials too, they have paid him some 90 pounds more. But they have heard, the Puritans, okay, so they have heard that there is an alchemist at Heidelberg, okay, which is believed to be, Heidelberg is the place which is believed to be the center of alchemy. So he conveys this message that his Puritan brothers have heard that there is an alchemist at Heidelberg, okay, who can make gold, or who made gold of an egg, and that person also manufactured gold out of the bits of metals that were produced when pins were made. And at this, Subtle gets very annoyed and he asks Ananias his name, and he says that my name is Ananias. And so in the concluding passage of this scene, Subtle asks him to get out of his sight, to leave the place, and he says that now he doesn't want to see anyone with this name Ananias, because he has angered him. So now he considers Ananias wicked, and he says that he instructs him that now he should go and send his elders to come to him and to compensate the harm that is done to Subtle by Ananias, in order to give him satisfaction, because he says that otherwise he is going to extinguish the fire, which means he is going to put out the fire in the furnace, he is going to stop all the experiments, because, and then he also informs him that the red and black tinctures, okay, they have almost appeared, but everything will be lost, everything will get lost if he stops all the experiments. So he says, and if he stops all the work of separation and purification of the substances, then all the hopes that these Anabaptists have in destroying the bishops and the anti-Christian clergy will come to an end. So he's kind of warning, he's kind of giving a warning, and is asking Ananias to convey this message to his elders, that he is going to stop all his experiments unless they come and visit him within an hour and give him and compensate the harm and give him satisfaction. So with this, Ananias exits and the scene ends. So as the scene ends, we see the line, "This will fetch them and make them haste towards their gulling more." So this is again another pretentious uh, speech by Subtle, because now when he realizes that these Anabaptists are not going to pay him anymore, he has to convince them somehow to pay him more. So he says that whatever I have said to Ananias, of course now he is going to convey this to his elders, and this will of course quicken the process of these people being made fools. And with this, Act 2, Scene 5 ends. So what we see in this scene, in these two scenes, that even the Puritans who claim themselves to be pious, who claim themselves to be moral, strictly moral, are in reality they were also after the philosopher's stone. And this is what is criticized by Ben Jonson, that this is hypocrisy. So the hypocrisy of the Puritans is also exposed by Ben Jonson, that although they display themselves as pious, as religious people, as moral people, yet now ironically they are the ones who now want to get hold of the philosopher's stone in order to strengthen, like I said, in order to strengthen their radical Puritan radical beliefs. Okay, so these Protestants, okay, they are radical people, and therefore they are considered religious fanaticism, because religious fanatics, sorry, because we already discussed that they are the people who will never come to any kind of compromise, and they are the ones who wanted to purify the Church of England. So that is why, that is why now they are looking for the philosopher stone, which also expresses their greed for the philosopher's stone. So with this we come to the end of the analysis of the two scenes 4 and 5. I hope you understood the lecture. So if you find it helpful, do give it a thumbs up, share it, and do not forget to subscribe to my channel. Until then, goodbye.